Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to use action lines to make your poses a lot more dynamic. And we're going to be doing two poses today. One of them will be a sort of normal everyday pose, and the other one will be a very extremely dynamic action pose. So let's start with the everyday pose. The idea is a woman putting her hair up in a ponytail, and this is action line with the head up here and the feet down here. This represents the shoulders, and this represents where the hips will be. So we have the head leaning forwards, the back arching, and the hip at this point, and the legs positioned slightly backwards. And let's just sketch in the way that's going to look. So that's basically the way this pose is going to turn out, and I'm going to fill in the rest of the body, just make this a little more detailed before we remove this action line, and just so that we can see how the action line coincides with it, I'm going to draw another one over here, and then I'm going to just make this a little more detailed. So that's how this pose would turn out, and you can actually go in a lot of different directions with a pose like this. She could have her hands on her hips, or she could be like crossing them, or she could be like crossing her arms, or holding something with this arm, or maybe talking on the phone with this. There are a lot of poses that you can do, putting the arms in any position, if you have the body in this very, very dynamic pose. We've got the shoulders angling this way and the hips angling the other way, which is really putting a whole lot of bends in the body that look really cool. So if you're trying to draw a cool pose, you might start with this template and see what you can come up with. Okay, now that we've got that pose done, we're going to go on to the extreme dynamic pose. Now the extremely dynamic pose For this, we're going to have the action line have much sharper curves and much sharper angles of the hips and shoulders. So, and it's going to be in pretty much the same direction. Maybe that's a little large. Okay. Then we mark off where the head will be and where the feet will be. And just refine this line. It's kind of hard to imagine what's going to be here, so you might start sketching a little before you start refining the action line, and you might get a little confused. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put in the head. And now that the head is there, we can see that the action line going down from the shoulders is actually further to the right, to our right, with the hips here. We're going to have one leg going straight down and the other bent. This arm, I think it's going to be holding a sword, because this is a super action pose. So let's just sketch in a sword right there. And then this arm is sort of going to be going off into the distance, and we're going to show that by making it look a little more 3D, like a cone with lots of swirls on it. And then we can put in the upper body and start seeing how we can refine this action line. I think that we should change up the position of the head here. So let's just have the head be going back a little bit. And instead of having that hand be out, let's show the tension of the pose by having it be a fist. And then we can go through and start filling in the blanks in this body. And I'm putting this foot at a really sharp angle, the way it would look if she was wearing a high heel. And I'm actually going to put this arm down lower from the shoulders because it's partially obscured by her body, which means that the arm line is going down through here. So it's still going to be coming off at a very rigid angle. And we show the foreshortening by having those curves because an arm is round, so we put these round lines getting smaller and smaller. And then the fist. And I'm just going to clean up the head a little bit. And now for this other arm. This arm seems a little long. It's not foreshortened at all, so we don't want it to look strange. So I'm just gonna redo it real quick. So basically this is an action pose of a girl running or just doing a cool jump while holding a sword. And to contribute to the motion of this pose, I'm going to show you a quick little trick about hair after I have cleaned up this image some. We have just a hint of her foot back there. Okay, now for that trick about hair. On this pose, we had the hair's action line be an S-curve, and this is a very natural pose. So the S-curve is not very sharp, but on this one, we're going to have a super sharp S-curve as her long hair flips first in one direction and then in the other. And I'm going to put a little bit of detail on this so it makes more sense in the image. Alright, that is that for this tutorial. There's really no room on this other picture for me to show the action line, so I'm just going to draw it inside the body and then demonstrate the hip and shoulder lines. So that is the way these poses turned out, and I hope this tutorial was helpful to you guys. I learned the action line trick from a drawing book, and since it was so obscure, I haven't seen that technique anywhere else, I decided that I should show you guys how to use it because it's very helpful with posing. So yeah, that's it for this video. And don't forget to share and take a look around my channel. I've got a whole lot of other tutorials that might be helpful to you. So I'll see you there.